Okay, we're doing the MyiMaths Surds 2 question 2, rationalizing, and it says rationalize these denominators. Well, you need to know what a rational number is, so I'll cover that in another video. But basically, we want to get rid of the square root signs in the bottom of the fractions. So square roots are irrational numbers. So to rationalize them, means we've got to get rid of the square roots from the denominators. The denominators are the bottoms of the fractions. So when it says rationalize the denominators, it means get rid of the square roots from the bottom of the fractions. Okay, so 2 divided by the square root of 11. Let's just go to my notebook. So 2 divided by the square root of 11. Well, if we multiply that fraction by 1, it'll just be the same thing. But if we were to write our 1 as, say, 100 over 100, it would still be the same thing. But we'd end up writing our fraction with a different numerator and denominator, but it would still be worth the same if we just multiplied top and bottom by something and had it in a different form. So just in the same way that a half is the same as 10 over 20, which is the same as 100 over 200. If we multiply top and bottom by the same thing, then the fraction's going to be worth the same. It's just going to be written in a slightly different form. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom of this fraction by the square root of 11 over the square root of 11. And when I do that, I get, well, 2 times the square root of 11 is 2 times the square root of 11. And the square root of 11 times the square root of 11 is just 11. So what I've just written is equal to the original fraction, but now it hasn't got a square root at the bottom. So I've got rid of the square root in the bottom of the fraction. I have rationalized the denominator. So let's just get over and write that. 2 root 11 over 11. 2 root 11 over 11 is the same fraction with a rationalized denominator. Okay, so you need to have watched the question 1 video to understand the next bit. 5 over 7 plus root 5. So 5 over 7 plus root 5. And I'm just going to put that 7 plus root 5 in a bracket. And now I'm going to multiply top and bottom of that fraction by 7 minus the square root of 5. So all we're really doing is multiplying it by 1. So it's not getting any bigger or smaller, but we're just writing the fraction in a different way. So 5 times the square root of 7 on the top, 5 times 7 on the top is 35, and 5 times minus root 5 is minus 5 root 5. And then on the bottom, if you watch the question 1 video, you'll see something interesting happens. So 7 times 7 gives you 49. And then you've got 5 times the square root of 5 times 7, so plus 7 times the square root of 5. Then you've got the other 7 times the minus square root of 5 in the other bracket, so minus 7 times the square root of 5. And then finally you've got the square root of 5 times minus the square root of 5 gives you minus 5. So what happens is the middle bit of that fraction cancels because you've got plus and minus the same square root. So that comes out to be 35 minus 5 root 5 over 49 minus the 5 there. And the middle bit with the square roots has just cancelled itself out. So 35 minus 5 root 5 over 49 minus 5, which is the same as 35 minus 5 root 5 over 44. So we've rationalized the denominator. Let's just get over to that and fill it in. So what was it again? 35 minus 5 root 5 minus 5 root 5 over, it was 44, wasn't it? Let's just check. 44. Okay, let's do the last one. 5 over 7 minus root 7. So it's a similar thing again. 5 over 7 minus root 7. So the trick is to, let's just stick the bottom in brackets here, multiply the top on the bottom by something that's similar to the 7 minus root 7, but has a plus root 7 instead. And then that's going to give us a plus and minus the same thing when we multiply it all out, and cause something to cancel. So on the top, 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times the square root of 7 is 5 root 7. And then on the bottom, that's not a very good fraction, is it? Let's see if I can do better than that. Okay. So 7 times 7 is going to give me 49. 7 times the square root of 7 is going to give me 7 root 7. Minus 7 times the other 7, sorry, minus root 7 times the other 7 is going to be minus 7 root 7. And let's just get rid of minus 7 root 7. And then finally, minus root 7 times root 7 is going to give us minus 7. So we end up with 35 plus 5 root 7 on the top. And then you've got on the bottom the plus and minus 7 root 7 cancels itself out. So all you end up with is the 49 minus 7, which is 42. So the answer is 35 plus 5 root 7 divided by 42 is the final answer. So let's put that in. 35 plus 5 root 7 divided by 42. Let's just mark that. And there we are, 8 out of 8.